online yet or not. We'll see here momentarily. Seems like I am. Let's make sure the volume's working. Let's see here momentarily. Yep, seems like it is. So I'll wait a few minutes to see if anyone is going to come by, and then I will get started. Okay, so anyone can come in with questions whenever they like. You can just type in the chat over on the right side of the page, but I'll just quickly do an introduction to the course generally, talk a little bit about the syllabus, the assignments you'll be expected to do throughout the term, just those sort of things. So, welcome to 324, Law and Morality. Sorry, I was having trouble with the number there. This is Summer Session 2, 2016. I'm Matt Mortellaro. I'll be your instructor for this course. In this course, as I said in the syllabus, we're going to be exploring a lot of different issues that are at the intersection of issues in law and issues in ethics or morality. We're going to mostly take the philosophical approach to these questions, and we're going to be looking at them from the point of view of not what the law is, but rather what we think the law ought to be. And we'll see arguments from a lot of different perspectives on what the right way to organize our laws and policies are. I see that a few more of you are watching now, and that's great. Like I said before, feel free in the chat to ask any questions that you have. I'll largely try to be guided by you. If you do have questions about anything in the syllabus or anything about the course, I'd be happy to answer those. There's a little bit of a delay on the stream with just the natural way that the streaming works. So, yeah, I may not get to your question as soon as you post it, but I will as soon as I see it. Anyway, so I wanted to also say about summer session courses generally. I said this is in the syllabus as well. Summer session courses are a fair bit more intensive than a course that you would have over a full semester, just because there's so much less time for us to do things. We're trying to fit into 4.5 weeks what would usually take 13 or 14 weeks to do. So there's going to be readings just about every day. As I said, I'll be doing one of these live streams talking about the readings every day, Monday through Friday. What I'll try to do is at the end of each module, I will have a day where we'll just be doing review of the previous material, just as a preparation for the exams that we'll be having after each module. So I guess I'll get a little bit into what the assignments looks like and what the grading situation is. So as I said, the course is going to be divided into 4 modules. Each module is around some sort of theme. So module 1 that we're going to be starting tomorrow is around basically the theme of duty to obey the law and the morality of obeying versus resisting the law. Right? So we'll be looking at some philosophical pieces about that, we'll be looking at Martin Luther King Jr.'s classic piece, Letter from the Birmingham Jail, where he talks about civil disobedience, and a couple other pieces as well. So, just as an example, using Module 1, what we'll do is, before the module gets started, I want everyone to do a little entrance quiz. This just gets you thinking about the issues that are important. I see that some of you have already completed it, and that's great. It is going to be due before the first lecture in any module that the entrance quiz is for, and the reason for that is just I don't want you too influenced by the readings. I want to sort of get your ideas before you go into any of the topics we'll be talking about. So we'll start with that, and then we'll have some number of days of reading and lectures. Most of the time it's going to be 4 days of reading and lectures. This first one's a little shorter. It's only going to be 3. And then I'll have the review session the last day. And then as soon as the review session is over, I'll post the exam for that. And I'm going to make it so that you have 3 days to start the exam. But once you start it, you're going to probably have an hour. I'll figure out the exact amount of time I want to give you based on how many questions I'm asking. But it's going to be a mix of multiple choice and essay-style questions that you'll do over D2L. So, as I said, the course is going to be one which is difficult. It's a higher level course in the various areas that it's cross-listed. So I'm going to expect a lot from you as far as the level of your writing, the quality of your analysis. But I do understand that this isn't everyone's field. You may not have very much experience with these topics. And so I've made the grading scale as a whole fairly generous. There's 110 possible points, but I'm only going to be grading out of 100, so that's 10 extra credit points that are built into the system already. And I also have the option in there for you to write a term paper. If you hadn't done well in the quizzes, a term paper can replace your lowest quiz grade, unless, of course, your term paper ended up getting a worse score than your worst quiz grade. So there are a couple things built in there to give you some help if you're struggling in the class. And of course, if you're having any problems, you should email me, get in contact with me, and I'd be happy to help you out. Also at the end of each module, not at the end of each module, but rather at the end of the course, I'm going to post an exit quiz. This is going to be just like the entrance quizzes. It's not going to be graded for what your answers are, it's just that you completed it. And it's just another opportunity for you to think about the issues now that you've gone through all of them. Now you've done all the reading, and see if you've changed your mind, see if you still have the same views, but maybe you have better reasons for your views than before. And that's sort of the goal of the course, is to get you thinking about these issues, and whatever views you end up having, to have them for good reasons, right? Not just to have them because people have told you that, or without really reasoning it through yourself. So I just want to give you a variety of different arguments to consider, and it's up to you to decide which ones you find most convincing. A little bit about late work. So like I said, we have a very little time in this course, so there's not really much room for falling behind. Late work's a pretty serious problem, so I am going to be pretty strict about this. Once the deadline's passed, assignments are going to be penalized 10 percentage points, so if you were going to get an 84 on the assignment, you'd instead get a 74 if you turned in late at all. After 24 hours, after a full day, after the deadline's passed, it's going to be another 10 percentage points. And then after 48 hours, I'm just not going to accept it at all. It's very difficult for me to have to return to previous assignments after already having graded all the other ones. So we're just going to try to keep moving along as fast as we can, so don't be late with anything. If you do have some circumstance that comes up, of course, let me know ahead of time if possible, and I'll try to work something out so that you're not penalized for turning in something late if you have something really serious that occurs, a death in the family, or you're really ill or something like that. We can work on something like that. Just let me know as soon as you can. Don't wait until it's already, I won't accept the assignment, and then you come in with an excuse. It's going to be more difficult for me to believe under those circumstances. Academic integrity, this is really important. Please don't cheat, don't plagiarize. Not only is it a bad idea because you might get caught, but it's also not something you should do from a moral, ethical point of view, right? And that's part of what this class is about. If you're ever feeling like you're up against the wall and you feel like you don't have any other options, please contact me instead of doing that. We can try to work something out. But really, the penalties for cheating and plagiarism are really quite severe, so you should avoid them at all costs. Students with disabilities, if any of you have any sort of disability that makes it difficult for you to do anything that's part of this class, please feel free to get in contact with me, and we'll work out some sort of accommodation for you. You can also contact Disability Resources, and they'll help establish reasonable accommodations too. So don't be shy about that. Yeah, the rest is just the schedule. If anyone has questions, I can talk about those. I guess maybe only 2 people are watching, so. But if you do have questions, yeah, go ahead. I'm open to them. I don't really have much else to say. I will hang out here for another 10 minutes or so. If no one has any questions in that time, then I suppose I will get off, and you can feel free to leave questions on D2L, to email me questions. I'd be happy to answer them as soon as possible. Oh, yeah, okay. Elaine, I will be posting the readings before the lectures for them. So the lecture is going to sort of assume that you've already done the reading. That's a good point. I should have mentioned this before, yes. So the lectures do assume that you've already done the reading so that you can ask questions. Think of the lectures less as me going through the readings and more as an opportunity for you to ask questions about the readings, issues that might have come up that you had trouble with, you weren't sure what the author was saying, anything like that. So I will probably post all the readings for a module as soon as that module is sort of live. So right after this is over, I'll be posting all the readings for Module 1. And I don't expect you to do more than the day's worth of reading, but yeah, the lectures do assume that you have already done the reading. No problem. Right. I should also say on the schedule, when I have the assignments listed on the schedule, that is the day that I will post the assignment. So they'll be due either the next day or, in the case of the exams, 3 days later. or I guess, yeah, so the only case it's the next day is the personal introductions. Those are due on the 13th. But the exams are always going to be due 3 days after they're posted, and the entrance quizzes are always due before the first lecture on that module. Let's see what else. Oh, right. So you'll notice that some of the days that we have in this course are not listed on the schedule yet. The reason for that is that I expect to be missing at least 1 day prior to the end of this course. I'm going to be moving at the beginning of August. I'm not sure exactly what day yet, but I've put some padding in there so that if I have to miss a day, then we'll have some extra time to do that. And also, if we're struggling through one of the modules, if it ends up being more work than I anticipated, then we have like a couple days of breathing room to take an extra day on something if people are having trouble with it. So I think this schedule has 3 days missing in it. I think that's right. So if it ends up that we need them, we'll use them. If not, then of course, they'll just be days that you'll be off. Those of you who are watching, do you have any other questions that you want me to talk about? If not, I guess I will end it here. I'll give it a couple minutes because of the delay. I also don't know if the stream has lagged here, maybe? Okay. Alright, well, thanks. I hope this worked well. I had a little bit of trouble getting it all set up, but I think it's working okay now. But anyway, thanks for participating, those of you who did. Those of you who couldn't, thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.